Seeing that it's 6 o'clock, I'll call this meeting to order.
All right, I'll call roll. Mr. Travis?
Here.
Ms. Ross?
Here.
Mr. Totsky?
Here.
And Mr. Pax?
Here.
Ms. Sundar?
Here.
All right, we have everybody present with an alternate tonight. You can take it away.
All right.
Melvin?
Anyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State, I do, and when it's your turn to offer testimony, please state your full name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn.
I do.
Thank you all.
All right, thanks, Mr. Chairman. We have three items of new business on the agenda for tonight. That would include one residential case and two commercial cases. The agenda does have a certain order, but I will clarify that we're going to move the order around just a bit based on schedules and logistics. So if we have, let's see, Pullman Drive Panda Express applicant here. I will go through the staff report first, and then we will move ahead with that case. So that case number is VA 2431. The location for this is the future Panda Express restaurant. Site address 6520 Pullman Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio. So this site is still undergoing construction and eventually will be home to a 2,700 square foot freestanding Panda Express restaurant, and that was approved under commercial zoning permit 2023-0687. At last month's BZA meeting under case CU 24-28, the site was granted a conditional use for the installation of a monument freestanding sign that's 20 feet setback from the edge of Lewis Center Road at the southeast corner of the parcel. The applicant tonight is requesting 4 area variances from the Orange Township zoning resolution, section 22.03, to allow for 4 wall signs to be added that exceed 15 feet 0 inches in height from the grade to the top of the sign. Covers the subject parcel. Location is owned by CFTNV Developments, LLC. So surrounding area, looking north of the property, the zoning district is PC, and in fact that theme carries for all the other directions, PC zoning surrounding this parcel. To the north, the land use is Olentangy Crossings Plaza. That includes Kroger and other commercial uses. To the south, the land use is Lewis Center Road, and just south of that is a currently undeveloped commercial parcel. East is land uses Olentangy Crossings Plaza, Ohio State Outpatient Care, and other commercial uses. And the west is US 23, as well as Olentangy Crossings West Development and other commercial uses. As I went through, you can see this is a little bit dated, but there is now a framed restaurant at the site, and site improvements are continuing. I'm not sure about construction status, but it is moving along there. All of the other parcels are about what you see from this aerial view. Moving on to the context view, there's US 23, north, south, and then Lewis Center Road running east and west. So it's at that corner of that intersection. All right, I will flip to the exhibits. Let's see, so for the first one, we have sign heights that are all at 18 feet 0 inches in height. This first sign is wall sign A, and it's on the south elevation. Again, 18 feet 0 inches from grade to the top of the sign. So that means a variance of 3 feet 0 inches is being requested. This represents a 20% variance request from Orange Township zoning resolution, section 22. All right. Exhibit 2, it's wall sign B. That's on the east elevation, and it's facing Pullman Drive. So this wall sign is also like the last one, 18 feet 0 inches. Variance of 3 feet is being requested, which is a 20% variance request. 2 more wall signs included in this application, and both of those are located on the north elevation. So the next one is described as wall sign C. It's the panda letter set. That's a vertical arrangement of letters. The applicant, just like the other signs, proposing that at 18 feet. So 3 feet is the variance, and that's a 20% variance request. And last but not least, just a little bit to the side of the panda letters is the emblem, like the other signs, and that is at 18 feet in height, wall sign D, and a 20% variance request for that. So I included Exhibit 5 for your reference. It has some of the other sign locations, not just the wall signs, but you can get a better idea through that locations. I believe that's all for, let's see, I think the next thing is the board analysis, and then motions for your consideration. That's all. If you want to have the applicant.
Would you like to present?
Yes, thank you. Good evening, board. Thank you for seeing me. My name is Ross MacArthur. I'm from Charlottesville, Virginia, and I have been sworn in. As Eric has indicated, we are asking relief from the current zoning bylaw to allow us to place the signs at 18 feet off grade to the top of the sign for a number of reasons. For one of the reasons, to the north, facing Pullman, the elevation of our building is lower than grade, almost by 8 feet from Pullman down to the actual level, and on the side as well. So if you can imagine during the wintertime, with snow buildup and that difference in elevation, you're not going to see the back side, the east side, or the south. It's going to be very difficult. So we're asking to allow us to have all the signs at the same elevation all the way around the building, to give continuity to the building and to maintain our national standard. We have 3,400 restaurants across the country. We would like to keep that standard the same and the image the same. I counted no less than 6 other commercial entities in that development that all had signs actually well above 18 feet on the rear and side elevations as well. Of course, you're allowed 23 feet on the...
I believe it's 24 facing US 23.
24, yes. And we're not going near that height on any of our signs. So we're asking a favorable decision from you folks in that regard.
Questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else want to speak on this issue? Seeing none, I'll ask anyone who want to make a motion. Okay.
Regarding wall sign A, south elevation, I make a motion to approve based on the factors presented by the applicant and discussed. I move to approve case number VA-24-31 for the property located at 6520 Pullman Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio, 43035, seeking an area variance from the Orange Township zoning resolution section 22.03 subsection C to allow for the wall sign identified in this report as wall sign A to be 3 feet 0 inches above the allowed 15 feet 0 inches in an area zoned planned commercial and office PC district.
I second.
Motion made by Mr. Pack, seconded by Ms. Sindar. Those voting, I will start with Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Pax,
Yes.
Ms. Sindar,
Yes.
Mr. Krebs,
Yes.
and Mr. Toski.
Yes.
And that motion carries. That's for wall sign A. Yep, and we do, want to make clear, we do have to do individual motions because we have 4 wall signs. So if you wanted to stay put. I will stay. Carry on.
I'll make a motion for approval of wall sign B based on factors presented tonight by the applicant and discussed. I move that we approve case number VA-24-31 for the property located at 6520 Pullman Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio 43035, seeking an area variance from the Orange Township zoning resolution section 22.03 subsection C to allow for the wall sign identified in this report as wall sign B to be 3 feet 0 inches above the allowed 15 feet in an area zone planned commercial and office PC district.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Pax, seconded by Ms. Ross. Those voting. Ms. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Pax?
Yes.
Ms. Sundar?
Yes.
Mr. Treps?
Yes.
And Mr. Totsky?
Yes.
Motion also carries.
Continuing on, I make a motion of approval of wall sign C. Based upon factors discussed tonight and presented by the applicant, I move to approve case number VA-24-31 for the property located at 6520 Pullman Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio 43035, seeking area variance from the Orange Township zoning resolution section 22.03 subsection C to allow for the wall sign identified in this report as wall sign C to be 3 foot 0 inches above the allowed 15 feet 0 inches in an area zone planned commercial and office PC district.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Pax, seconded by Ms. Ross. Those voting. Ms. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Pax?
Yes.
Ms. Sundar?
Yes.
Mr. Treps?
Yes.
And Mr. Totsky?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And finally, regarding wall sign D, I make a motion of approval based on factors discussed this evening presented by the applicant. I move to approve case number VA-24-31 for the property located at 6520 Pullman Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio 43035, seeking an area variance from the Orange Township zoning resolution section 22.03 subsection C to allow for the wall sign identified in this report as wall sign D to be 3 foot 0 inches above the allowed 15 feet in an area zoned planned commercial and office PC district.
I second.
Motion made by Mr. Pax, seconded by Ms. Sundar. Those voting. Ms. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Pax?
Yes.
Ms. Sundar?
Yes.
Mr. Treps?
Yes.
And Mr. Totsky?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So, like I said, we're out of order a little bit, but we will jump back to the first case, which was for, under case number VA 24-29. And this is for the property at 277 Fox Ridge Circle. And that location is seeking an area variance for the side yard setback based on the applicant's desire to install a new third-car garage, attached third-car garage to an existing home. So in specific, that would allow for the 10'8", so 10 feet 8 inches wide by 20 feet 8 inches long garage addition, which will encroach 5 feet 2 1/2. We rounded up to 5 feet 3 inches into the required 12-foot side yard setback in an area zone single-family plan residential district. And the property is currently owned by Neil Tolman. For the surrounding area, this is in all directions a zoning district, single-family plan residential. The land uses are all single-family residences, as it is in the midst of the Fox Ridge neighborhood, at the end of cul-de-sac street. And in specific, the east direction is where Fox Ridge Circle bounds the property and the driveway access is located. So that is shown here fairly clearly on the zoomed-in aerial. And then you can see kind of to the south and east, I know it's an angle, but the south and east side of the home is where this third car garage proposal is located. And then you Move to the zoomed out view. And we'll move right along. The staff review portion is next. So this is a variance request from the side yard setback for the garage addition to encroach into that side yard setback, which is 12 feet and 0 inches. The proposed garage addition will encroach 4 feet, 8 1/2 inches. I did have to make that correction, so it's a 4 feet and 8 1/2 inch encroachment into the required 12 feet and 0 inches side yard setback. The garage will be set back 7 feet and 3 1/2 inches away from the side property line at the closest point. This is a roughly 39% variance request from rezoning case 1704 Fox Ridge. The next page includes a few elevation drawings for your familiarity, and you can see the different sides of the home. The first one being the rear, and then front facade, and kind of offset for the third view. And Exhibit 3 is the floor plan showing those dimensions of the new garage addition. A new driveway is proposed to connect from the existing driveway to this garage addition. Just for clarification, the driveway is not subject to that side yard setback. So as long as it's on the property, it is not outside of any requirements. And for your further familiarity regarding the proposal, we took some site photos. This first one on Exhibit 4 is facing southwest. The black camera bag to the left is the side property line. The small cone represents the front corner of the addition. The water bottle represents the side setback line, while the large cone in the background, you can kind of see that in the mulched area, represents the addition's rear corner. This one, similar view, it's just slightly offset so you can see those cones and items more clearly. This is the northeast view, so the reverse view of what you just saw. And so this large cone is the rear corner. We kept the water bottle representing the side property line in the same location, just to keep that consistent. And then we'll move along to 2 more photos. This is a perspective view from, I think it's close to the right-of-way, if not in the right-of-way, so you can visualize that. And the last one being essentially just zoomed in view of the last one. Now, that's really what I had for the staff report. Back over to you for any questions. If you want to bring the applicant up, you can feel free.
Sure. Have you been sworn in? Yeah. Okay. State your names.
I'm Kelly Tolman, 277 Fox Ridge Circle, Powell, Ohio.
Neil Tolman, 277 Fox Ridge Circle, Powell, Ohio. I'm sworn in.
Do you have an overhead of our cul-de-sac? You probably showed it. So
Go to that.
the major issue that we're dealing with is that because we live on a cul-de-sac, there's no parking allowed on the cul-de-sac. Yes, there. So within 3 or 4 years, we'll have another driver, and then we have 4 kids. So we're going to end up having a lot of drivers. We're trying to plan ahead. There's no parking in the cul-de-sac, so they'd have to go way down there to park. Or we thought we could put a driveway to the side of our house. That way they can be close to the house. They don't have to walk out of our view to get to the car. So if we're putting a driveway to the side of our house, how could we make it look as appealing as possible, best for the neighborhood? We thought we're going to do home remodel projects. If we're doing that, we thought the best way to make it look nice would be to make it a 3-car garage rather than just a slab of cement. So I know one of the letters from our neighbors, Kip, said he's okay with it, but he wants it to be continuous with the architectural style of the house. So this would be part of the remodel project. We're re-siding the house. It would be continuous. It wouldn't look like an afterthought. Regardless, we need a place for our kids to park. So the lawn to our side is going to be replaced with a driveway area. We'll get rid of that little mulch garden space, put in an area for them to pull around the side. And we just want it to look as nice as possible without having to park where it's illegal or way down the road. So the sign of where you can park is probably
Close to the bend. It's 100 to 150 yards, probably.
there's a fire hydrant. Can you on the other side of the road? Anyway, it's straight across from a fire hydrant. Either way, it's quite a walk for them to have to make each morning, or park illegally, or put in the driveway. So we're thinking we have to put in the driveway.
And that's if none of the neighbors who live there have already parked in the street there.
Anyway, it does encroach on the easement. When we made up the plans, we asked about High Meadows Village. We didn't realize that we don't live in High Meadows Village. We take High Meadows to get to our house, but we're actually a different portion. So it has bigger setbacks than High Meadows Village as a whole.
So some of the concerns that were expressed by the neighbors were about the property value. We hired a real estate attorney to look over this before we submitted it. We wanted to make sure we weren't doing anything unusual or other than the variance. And both the attorney and our real estate agent said this project should increase values in the neighborhood. But I didn't submit any of that information. It was my understanding that property values aren't a consideration for variances. So I didn't bring that information with me. One of the concerns is green space. Probably that's why there's a 12-foot setback, is to have more green space. With this project complete, there will still be 22 feet between the new structure and the nearest neighbor's house. So that almost is the 24 feet that was intended by the neighborhood.
But regardless, we're getting rid of grass. We're just
Yeah.
trying to make the third car area look as nice as possible.
Yeah, I don't think the neighborhood had intended to have a parking lot on the side of the house, which is why we thought a garage would look nicer. There was something else. Oh, also with there's still 22 feet between structures. There should still be plenty of room for cars or equipment to get to the back if there's ever work that needed to be done. This should have no effect on that. And we respectfully request that you grant our application for a variance, unless you have other questions.
Just what I was going to ask. Questions? We can ask. Is there anyone else that wants to
Yes,
talk
I believe so.
on this? Thank you. Come on up, sir.
My name is Rakesh Arora. I'm resident of 281 Fox Ridge Circle, the property next to the 277.
On your right side or on the left side of the?
On the left side, if you look at the Neil house, I'm the left side, so I'm the property which is going to be most impacted.
What is that, I'm sorry, what is your property address again?
281 Fox Ridge Circle.
280, okay.
And it's on the
Thank
screen for you as well.
Yeah.
And good evening, board members. My name is Monica. I'm the owner for address 281 Foxwood Circle. So we are writing in reference to the variance application number 2429 for 277 Fox Ridge Circle. As the owners and the residents of 281 Fox Ridge Circle, which is adjacent to 277 Fox Ridge Circle, we will be significantly impacted by this request. We have enjoyed living on this court for the last 20 plus years, and while we share a great relationship with our neighbors who is requesting the variance, we must strongly object to this application and urge the board not to approve it. The variance is not in the best interest of us or our other neighbors. Our primary concern is that one of the main reasons initially when we purchased this property was the spacing between those houses, which ensures the privacy and the aesthetic appeal of the house. Approving this variance would bring our neighbor's property uncomfortably close to ours and adversely affecting the visual curb appeal as well. Additionally, the proximity of the new structure would be highly visible from our master bedroom and the living area, making the wall appear much closer and impacting our enjoyment of these spaces. So furthermore, this variance could negatively impact the timely sale and the value of the properties in the neighborhood. Please see the attached letter from a realtor who has provided his professional opinion on this matter. Additionally, this change could impact the delivery of the government and utility services in the future. The encroachment could restrict utility companies from placing any future utility boxes in the easement area in front of the proposed garage due to the angle of the property line. We appreciate your consideration of our concerns and hope that the board will take into account the hardship and the adverse impact this variance would have on our property and the neighborhood as a whole. We respectfully ask the board not to grant an exception to the code and to deny this variance request. Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead. If you have a question.
Just one. You said something about the utilities. Where are the utilities located?
So we are talking like, so our left out of our house, we have this kind of utility box, right? So,
Sure.
Yeah,
right,
it's a
so
standard.
this is
Yeah,
standard
yes,
for
it's
them.
standard.
So all we are saying is in future, if you could show the, the new diagram,
Site plan.
site plan, let's do that.
One more page.
It's just before that. There you go.
So if you look at, even like looking at this road, it's almost touching the, touching the 5 feet in easement. If you look, so if you put a driveway in front of which you need to, right? So if utility companies want to put any kind of boxes in front of that easement, they will not be able to do it because that's going to, hinder their entrance to the garage entry. Right, so this is again minor point we're trying to make it because again, in theory, I have other side of my property. I could not build this kind of garage if I wanted to build it because there are utility boxes, and in future 5G technology, who knows, they're going to put some small boxes, that will hinder ability for them to do it because this is going to obstruct their garage, right? So that was the point basically I want to bring it, but and also I have the other point we were trying to make it is not just going to look aesthetically bad from the curb side. This is our view from our living room. So bringing the garage close, walk close is again going to
Coming in that space.
the wall is going to look bad for us, our view, right? So
And that is a view from your bedroom?
yeah, that's a view from our
From the
master bedroom,
bedroom.
and the same view is again from our
The living area
Downstairs.
downstairs,
Yeah.
yes.
And also, the point I think Mr. Tolman is making is like still 20 feet, but if you look at the angle, right, the perception is always look closer, right? This is what even my realtor has written, because if you don't, being in angle, you always look from the side, if you could see, if I look in front of it, this line is extending it, and it again look closer than they actually are,
Yeah.
right? And also, having the 20 feet space in the behind, because his house is, a little bit further than my house is like this, and his house is further ahead. So yeah, you can see that, at the bottom, that this edge is not doing it, but if you look at aesthetically, this is already looking closer, and this is going to look more closer. And also, having more space on my side should not be that excuse, because I have right to extend to my property too. So yeah, so our consideration, and I wanted to be rational. we have been a good neighbor, they have been really good neighbor, and I've consulted with other neighbors in the neighborhood, other realtor. All I'm saying is this is not going to look good, and hopefully you guys have got the letters from email. I know Jim Smith-Sticky and Joe Marty and Mark, all of them were not in favor for this change. And this is a beautiful cul-de-sac, and having the change is it's gonna be eyesore. I mean, pardon my language, but I think that this is going to cause a major shift in how this cul-de-sac look.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And a quick question, you had also attached a letter, I didn't know if you were going to go through that letter from a real estate agent, or I could read it. Typically,
Yeah.
I'll read it. I'll read this letter, and then we can let the next individual come up.
Okay.
The realtor's name is Scott, you have in front of you Scott Bookheimer. And it states, Rakesh, after looking at the rendering of your neighbor's potential garage addition and how it would be situated in relation to your house, I do see some potential risk for you. The potential risk would be when you go to sell. As you know, homes on cul-de-sac lots appear to be a little closer due to the shape of the lot. If the neighbor's garage addition adds to that look or feel, you may have buyers down the road passing on your house for others that have more space in between them. That could lead to being on the market longer than average, which leads to a lower sales price. I noticed another potential negative effect to this improvement. Marking the driveway on a plat map is a commonplace. There is no driveway marked on the plat map to this garage. If the neighbor were to install a driveway to get to the garage in order to get around the corner of the house, the driveway would likely come very close to your property line. This would not only further the effect of your two houses being closer together than others, but take on a non-conforming look with the subdivision. In actuality, based on how the lots are, I see no potential upside to this project for you or the neighbor. It could negatively affect his resale down the road also. Let me know if I can do anything else.
So, sorry, can I add one more thing? So obviously, neighbor is showing the garage is going around in a circle, which is going to be really close. I think it still need more space to go around. That's my personal opinion. Like how I think you could show the picture of the driveway. Yeah, so it's going to be cut close to the house. It's not going to be that easy to build this kind of driveway regardless, right? But even regardless, that's a minor point. If it works, it works. But also I want to make a point, the parking, everybody on the street at one time is going to have more than 2 cars. People had 2 cars, more than 2 cars. They had kids, and everybody went through the same pain. So it's not a hardship. It's an extra convenience they're asking, not a hardship. And even the parking where it is 2 houses down. So if you want to show that map that Mr. Tolman was showing, the overview, the parking start, obviously in the cul-de-sac the parking is not allowed, but it's 2 houses down from their houses. There are 2 houses in the middle, and then the parking can be done. So if this is 1, 2, and at the corner, that's where the parking can be done. So it's not that far, in my opinion. And also, like this is a problem for the whole every member on the cul-de-sac.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Eric, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So if I understand correctly, the applicant is saying that they were planning on, they could put in a driveway and just park a car next to their garage, and that they feel that this would be more appropriate or look better to have a garage there instead. So it would be within code to pull a car and park it in between 2 houses like that?
Yeah, as long as they went through and got I believe they would submit a residential zoning permit for the garage extension. There is no minimum required setback distance for driveways, so they could do that if they wanted to through administrative process.
Okay, so the neighbors could be looking at a car parked there or a garage.
If
there.
it's a driveway, potentially the car
That's-
could end up there, yep.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else want to?
Am I able to respond to any of that?
Sure.
Sure.
Please wait till you're at the mic.
Neil Tolman, 277 Fox Ridge Circle. So we put a lot of thought into this, considering our neighbors, and I pushed the garage back as far as I could, back to an egress window. I can't go back any farther without blocking an egress window. And that was to prevent the frontage of the houses from looking very different. As you enter the cul-de-sac, most of the time you will not even be able to see that garage on the side. If I made it as small as I could, that it would still fit a car inside. But I just wanted to make sure you're aware, I've already tried to make it as small and as far back as possible to address any of those concerns. I'm not sure it's a fair characterization to say all the neighbors are opposed to it. I spoke to some of them that were in favor as well, so, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Questions?
And
We
I do
do-
have two other letters, if you would like me to read those, unless the board feels like they've reviewed them already. You have the hard copies in front of you for 276 Fox Ridge Circle, and then 268 Fox Ridge Circle, but I'm happy to read those.
Is there
The board
anyone
would
here to want to speak? Who's here? Okay. Yes, you can.
All right.
Yes, you can read.
She have a taker. I will read first the 276 Fox Ridge. This is an email from Charles and Carol Kipfer, and they said in their email, we received your notice of public hearing that is scheduled for today's date, October 17th, and we support this request for variance requested by Neil Tolman, who would like to add a third car garage addition at his home at 277 Fox Ridge Circle. Our home is located in the cul-de-sac at the end of Fox Ridge Circle. Our home at 276 Fox Ridge Circle faces the Tolman home. We hope that the garage addition remains architecturally consistent with the home. The Tolman children, our grandchildren, attend the same school, and we greet their children at the bus stop each day, school day. When our grandchildren are in our care after school, they and the Tolman children play together. That is their letter, 276 Fox Ridge. And the other one, 268 Fox Ridge Circle, that was sent by Jim Schmidtke. He says, Dear Board, thank you for your hard work. I am writing in reference to subject parcel 318-324-0300900, number VA 24-29 regarding 277 Fox Ridge Circle. I live at 268 Fox Ridge Circle, which is directly across from 277 on the circle. My wife and I definitely have some concerns about the request for a variance. We do love our neighbors who are making the request. They are great people, and I feel bad to oppose the variance. The space between the homes is protected by the code, is one of the best visual values of the neighborhood. It really would be a sad thing to lose in a court with a small number of homes. The distance between homes on this court was one of the things that attracted us to the neighborhood. It provides excellent curb appeal. Realtors and many people have appreciated the spacing. I have evaluated what the construct in the variance diagram would look like from various angles on the circle. Besides the fact that it would infringe on the code, the proposed variance clearly gives the appearance of being inordinately close to the neighbor's house. It would cause a hardship through possible loss of visual value and resale for that neighbor and possibly for others. At this time, all of the properties on the court are in compliance with the code, and it looks great. So it is our clear opinion that such variance should not be permitted. Thanks again for your consideration and service. That's all I received. Yep, you can move ahead. If there are any other photos, we can always scroll through to them on the screen that you wanted to see again.
Bring up the site map, if you would. There you go. So the line to the left, that is the property line, isn't it?
That's better. Yeah, that shows
Yeah.
the property line. Yep.
But that doesn't show the new driveway.
No.
From what I can glean, the new drive is straddling the easement at that radius that you're seeing right there. So right at where that arrow is, basically, is on the 5-foot easement. Maybe encroaching slightly beyond it, actually. But that was the one thing I was curious about, frankly.
Yeah.
Now, with an easement too, they can put the pavement over it, that can always be, with the utility company, just chopped up, it's not a permanent structure, so that would not be an issue there, having the pavement going over it, but it is right on it, from what I can glean, looking at the scale of it. The one other thing I will comment about on that, I mean, the radius is a bit aggressive that you're showing down it. So it almost seems, whether the navigation of an automobile that's gonna be reversing out of that, and whether that, in reality, that drive needs to taper more towards your existing drive and a little less of a,
Towards the street.
yes, almost feathering right down to the left side of your driveway is what it seems like it's gonna wanna do, but I'm not, it just seems a bit severe in the reality of navigating within the automobile with a car, to make that turn.
Neil Tolman speaking again. I agree. The designer originally had it tapering farther down the existing driveway. I'm doing my best to attempt to preserve the green space in favor of the neighbors, but that may have to change at the time we actually build so that we can navigate the turn. I agree with you on that. Yeah, the driveway is not subject to the setback, so I don't think that's set in stone on this drawing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but.
No, it's more
It's
to your
fine.
point, the perception and the green space, from the pavement of the driveway. So that's all. I understand why you're trying to push it back in that respect for that, and that's all. This is gonna be a little bit.
Sure.
Can you go back to the picture, like the other one? The existing one?
The actual photograph of the house. There,
That one?
No, like this one.
okay.
Overhead.
The overhead
Yeah.
lot view. Whoop, there you go.
Can you zoom in, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just waiting if you have more questions, or should I sit?
It's just going to be a comment, like we, as he mentioned, even though it's going to be like a curve, in reality, it's going to be really hard because the easement is like so close by. So,
I understand this is complicated. That's why I'm leaving it in your trusted hands to make a decision.
I don't have any questions.
Anyone want to make a motion?
Okay. Do you have any other comments? If you
You
could,
have to
sir, if
finish.
you come up and state your name, our recorder needs to be able to capture all your comments correctly.
Rakesh Arora, I've been sworn, sorry about that. So, yeah, my comment was about, again, driveway, and, anyway, not even the driveway, the ingress and outgress of the car garage is going to be on the easement, right? And if in utility company want to put anything over there, they will block, they can't be able to utilize the garage, or utility company will not be able to provide the service. So that's my point regardless, that this is going to impede, providing public services. And again, I understand your point, either we'll be steering the driveway, but I'll be steering the driveway. If neighbors still want to go ahead and, make the driveway, but steering the driveway, which is much less objectionable than steering a driveway and a garage, right, which is higher in the height and.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's okay. If there aren't any other questions, I'll make a motion.
No, I don't have any questions. You can make a motion.
I move to deny case number VA 2429. In considering an application, we take into account several different factors. And I move to deny this case because I believe that the property in question can yield a reasonable return if this variance is not granted, and that they can park in the driveway. I believe the variance is substantial, and that the essential character of the neighborhood would be substantially altered with this garage in the placement as indicated. And I also believe that the property owner's predicament can be obviated by some other method other than a variance, such as just parking within the garage and driveway they already have existing on the property. So for those reasons, I move to deny case number VA 2429 for the property located at 477 Fox Ridge Circle, Lewis Center, Ohio, seeking an area variance from rezoning case number 1704 Fox Ridge to allow for a garage addition to encroach 4 feet 8 1/2 inches into the required 12 foot 0 inch side yard setback in an area zoned single-family residential district.
I second.
Motion made to deny by Mrs. Ross, seconded by Mr. Krebs. Those voting, Mr. Krebs,
Yes?
Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Pax,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
and Mr. Toski.
Yes.
And that motion to deny carries, so the variance is denied.
Okay.
Yep, so we're all done with that item, and we will move on to our last item for this evening. All right, so final item of new business for tonight is the variance and conditional use application for the site at 3855 Lewis Center Road. Let me get my staff report. Next up. All right, I'll read it here. So the applicant is requesting a conditional use from Orange Township zoning resolution, section 22.04A, to allow for the installation of a 6 by 8 foot monument style sign. This includes a 2 foot 8 inch by 8 foot 0 inch display area at the entrance of the Delco Water Company facility, which is located on the primary parcel of Alum Creek State Park property. Also being requested is an area variance from section 22.04E to allow the sign to encroach approximately 17 feet into the required 17-foot front setback within the Alum Creek Park open space. The subject parcel is located at 3855 Lewis Center Road, Galena, Ohio, having parcel number 318-140-01-002-000. So surrounding area to the north, the zoning it's essentially Alum Creek State Park, so the land use would be both Alum Creek Dam and Reservoir. To the south, the zoning district is single-family plan residential and farm residential district, kind of a mixture there. And land uses include single-family residences and the Woodstone subdivision. To the east, the zoning district is Allen Creek State Park. So it's it's park area and then the Interstate 71 right-of-way. Finally, to the west is the zoning district, single-family planned residential district, which includes land uses of single-family residences and the Park Shore subdivision. So it is a large site. We have a couple zoomed in aerials, but we also kept them further zoomed out than usual, and I did add that icon to see, so you could see clearly what side of the large parcel for Allen Creek State Park this is going to be located on. Again, south side near the dam and reservoir. I'm just going to jump through to our responses for all of this criteria, since you have it written out in front of you. So for the sign, the style, the sign is a monument-style freestanding sign. The applicant is proposing a monument-style freestanding sign, so it does meet that first item which we responded to. Scrolling a little bit further. All right. The maximum height of such sign does not exceed 8 feet above the average grade of the site, and the sign is located at the distance from any street right-of-way line as required. So according to Exhibit 1, the proposed sign will be 7 feet and 2 inches above grade. I believe that should be corrected as 7 feet. And then the sign is proposed to be set back 0 feet, unless the applicant can clarify a minimal distance from the property line adjoining Lewis Center Road. According to section 22.04A3E, the minimum setback in area permitted is that's 15 feet. I think it should be 17 feet from the right-of-way, and the sign, while it meets the height standard, so for the height above grade, it does not meet the distance away from the street right-of-way line, which should be 17 feet. And that's for the minimum size sign. The sign does not have any more than 2 sides. The sign is proposed, as proposed, has 2 sides, which meets that standard. The sign area of any one side or surface does not exceed 1/2 of the total display area permitted. The single sign face totals about 21.33 square feet, and since it is set back right at the right-of-way line, 0 square feet is what is permitted for that face. The proposed sign doesn't meet the above standard. So this is similar, basically what I just read. I'll skip through the bulk of that text since I know you've all seen it before and respond to it. The proposed one-sided sign will be approximately, so on one side it will be approximately 21.33 square feet, and the sign will be set back 0 feet from the right-of-way of Lewis Center Road. 0 square feet is permitted, and the sign doesn't meet the above standard. And then we have just one more. No part of such sign shall be located any closer to the right-of-way line than 15 feet, nor closer to any property line than the applicable building setback line if the adjoining property is in a residential district. The proposed sign will be set back 0 feet from the street right-of-way, therefore it does not meet the above standard. All right, so that was the conditional use. I did include the details from the applicant's exhibits. As you can see, the compliant base with the stone, a solid base, is what's proposed for the sign, and it will be a backlit style sign. Continue. There's the site plan. It doesn't show an exact setback distance, but it is right up against that right-of-way edge. You can see that notated right-of-way there. And continuing, I took a measurement just if the board had curiosity, because it's just
From the road.
hard to tell. The roadway setback from pavement to the actual edge of right-of-way line is about 41 feet. All right, so staff review for the variance. The face area Basically, it shall not exceed 32 square feet or maximum of 16 square feet per side or surface when this sign is located 15 feet from the primary frontage street right-of-way line. And then there is that additional calculation for if you're further away, but that doesn't apply tonight. The proposed sign would have a setback of 0 feet and 0 inches from the center road and encroaching 17 feet 0 inches into the allowed minimum setback distance for monument-style sign of 21.33 square feet in size per side. And that would make it 42.66 square feet total area, and the sign does not meet the above standard as a result. That is all I have for exhibits and staff review.
Who was speaking, please?
Hi, Colin Brinkman. I'm with Day Night Sign. I'm representing the Delco Water, 1640 Harmon Avenue, Columbus, Ohio.
And you've been sworn in.
Yes, I have. Yes, so this client of mine here, they've had a sign on the other side of the road now since they said like the 1990s, 1980s. I don't know how long it's been there, but it's been a while. And it's outdated. They want to upgrade. They want to have consistent branding throughout Delaware County. They have another location in Liberty Township that was approved for the same style of sign. Not the exact same dimensions. The reason we're going with a little bit of a taller sign here compared to the one in Liberty Township is because it is on a hill. The visibility is a little bit difficult when you're on Lewis Center Road. I believe the one in Liberty Township is like 4 feet tall with a 2-foot base, but the same size sign cabinet, maybe it's 4.5 feet. So realistically, they're looking to upgrade. There are current signs on the other side of the road. They said drivers get confused driving by, looking on the other side of the road for the facility when it's actually on the other side of the road. And then I do know we're in violation of that setback requirement. We're just looking to get as close as possible to that right-of-way. Being 40 feet from the road, they're kind of at a disadvantage already with visibility. So they're just trying to get as close as they possibly can, permissibly, with your guys' approval, to put a monument sign as close to the right-of-way as they possibly can. And again, the reason for that, I believe we mentioned like a 50%, was it, you said 50% of the face, right? The reason for that, again, is just the poor visibility on the road. That's why we're having to make that base so much larger than the sign face itself. So realistically, I believe that's pretty much all I have currently. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you. So I see the switch, so could you please explain me about that switch?
The disconnect switch?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's just so, I believe it's a building requirement with Delaware County to having a disconnect switch on a sign that's accessible. So that's to turn the sign on and off, realistically.
That's not the daily control.
Right, so they would.
That's just the emergency.
Right,
shut.
that's like an emergency, so they could have it on a timer, we could put a photo cell on it. I haven't had the discussion about that with them.
Yeah.
But we usually don't do timers, they could do that themselves with an electrician, or we could put a photo cell on there ourselves. So, yeah, that's not how, they're not gonna go out there every day and turn it on and off. Yeah, it's just there for like emergency, correct.
And the letters, the Delco, is there any lights involved, any illuminated lighting or anything in that?
Yeah, so that's pushed through acrylic. So the acrylic sticks out from the backer panel about a half inch, and then there's vinyl over top of it. It kind of gives it a halo effect. And like I said, they have one in Liberty Township too, if you guys wanted reference to see how it looks at night. I don't have the address off the top of my head, but they do have the same exact sign, graphic-wise, in Liberty Township to what we're gonna be putting here in Orange Township, hopefully.
Is the image there, basically the backlit illuminated letters with the perimeters glowing, is that the night light?
Yes, that's a night view.
Basically what we're gonna be seeing?
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
And the address numerals are not illuminated.
They are not. That's just like dimensional lettering, half-inch PVC.
Will anyone actually visit the Delco building
I
at
believe
night?
great question. Like I said, I know they're trying to have branding consistently with their location in Liberty Township. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know their hours off the top of my head, but, you know, maybe in the winter time, December 21st, shortest day of the year, I don't know. Yeah, they may have visitors at 5 PM, so.
Just wondering why they would even want it lit.
It's a water treatment.
Maybe they got money they want to spend, I don't know, but.
One other question too.
Yeah.
The disposition of that existing sign, is that gonna stay on the opposite side?
We are not removing it, but they have indicated to me that they're gonna remove it themselves or hire someone else to do it. Yes, but that is part of the scope of work, is that it will be removed. We just haven't been contracted to do that ourselves.
Okay, thank you. Was there someone else that wanted to talk?
I'm Kevin Wenner, 3808 Lewis Center Road, and I am sworn in, so. And I think we answered the question, your one question you asked about the disposition of the existing sign. And so I live right across from that, so I'm very familiar with the sign and wanted to make sure for sure that the new sign is going on the north side of the road, correct? So, I mean, I think I've seen where you potholed the utilities already out there. So.
Yeah, we might have been, yeah, we called it.
Right, so, okay, so that was my only question. I thought I might as well, since I sat through it, I might as well get up and comment, so. I mean, I don't, we've always been good neighbors with Delco, so it's okay. They didn't mow around the old sign this summer, so kind of like it to go.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just want to make sure this is a double face sign. You guys are aware, right? Okay.
Can you go back to the last image, I guess I should say? There. So the right-of-way is roughly 41 feet from the edge of the blacktop, right?
Yep, correct. Pavement, yep.
Yeah, pavement. That's a very big right-of-way.
It is. To note, I mean, two cars could be sitting there and preparing to turn left or right and not be blocked by that sign and
Oh,
have any
easily, yeah.
obstruction. So, I mean, that's the other thing that's of concern to me. And not much traffic going into whatever this thing is with the water treatment, or I'm not sure, but that should not be a case or an issue there.
Now, the Lewis Center Road, though, that can be busy. Yeah.
It's always busy.
Yeah.
Getting busier, yeah.
I don't drive that routinely, that stretch of it. But
And there's quite a bit of elevation difference between
Yes.
the road and
Right.
where that sign's gonna sit.
The one other point, I guess, or concern that I have is, and to the resident who spoke and gave testimony, is can we make a provision in that sign be removed as contingency of approval of this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can add the condition that the new sign would only be permitted or granted the variance and permitted with the removal, upon the removal of that existing sign on the south side.
Thank you.
No, I can make a motion.
Go for it.
Based on the factors, I move to approve case number VA-CU-24-30 for the property located at 3855 Lewis Center Road, seeking an area variance from Orange Township zoning, resolution section 22.04 E to allow for a monument sign identified in exhibits 1 and 2 of this report of the located a 0 feet 0 inches from the Lewis Center Road right-of line. Upon, Eric, I might need your help on the language.
Sure.
So upon removal of the existing sign on south side,
Yeah, on Lewis.
on the
Road.
Lewis Center Road.
Sure, yeah.
I'll second.
Okay. A motion made to approve with the conditions stated by Ms. Sundar, seconded by Mr. Treves. Those voting. Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
Mr. Treves,
Yes?
Mr. Pax,
Yes.
and Mr. Totsky.
Yes.
That motion carries. So that's the area variance. One down, one to go.
So now we're down to,
The setback.
hmm?
The setback.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. Make a motion to approve based on the factors discussed and presented today and testimony by a resident, to approve case number VA-CU-24-30 for the property located at 3855 Lewis Center Road, seeking an area variance from Orange Township zoning resolution section 22.04 subsection E to allow for a monument sign identified in exhibits number 1 and 2 of this report to be located 0 inches from Lewis Center Road right-of-way line.
I second.
Motion made by Mr. Peck, seconded by Ms. Sundar. Those voting. Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Treves,
Yes?
Mr. Pex,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
and Mr. Totsky.
Yes.
Motion carries as well.
Thank you all.
Am I allowed to see feedback or ask the question, or is it too late for that?
If you wanted to do so on the record, it's at the board's discretion. We will be finishing with a brief, short, couple business items to finish up the meeting, so it's up to you. Okay.
Okay.
So, let's see, the only other items for the business tonight were to cover the minutes, which I had sent out for July and August, and I know I heard from a couple of you that you didn't have concerns or changes for those minutes.
Yeah.
If any of you wanted to make a motion for both the July and the August minutes for approval, we can do so, one then the other tonight.
Did I send you comments on July way back?
I think you were one of the ones that's been,
Okay, so,
it's been
so
some
there
time.
are, so there are amendments to that one?
Let me check.
I don't think I sent you anything on August or September.
You're correct on the August, and I don't think I've also sent out the September, maybe I did send it September, but let me check on your comments for July. I'm not sure that I saw anything. I got an email from you saying you'd received them, but I didn't get anything
Okay.
as far as conditions for those.
It's,
Yeah,
it's a while back, I don't remember.
yeah, you're fine.
Okay, I move to approve the minutes of July 18th, 2024.
I second.
Motion by Ms. Ross, seconded by Mr. Treves. Those voting, Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Treves,
Yes.
Mr. Pax,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
and Mr. Totsky.
I think
You're
I
welcome to
abstain,
vote. You
yeah.
can abstain as well.
I'll
There's-
abstain.
Okay, you'll abstain, so that passes.
I move to approve the minutes of August 15th, 2024.
I second.
Motion to approve August minutes made by Ms. Ross, seconded by Ms. Sundar. Those voting, Mrs. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Treves,
Yes.
Mr. Pax,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar,
Yes.
and Mr. Totsky.
Abstain.
They pass as well. And I do want to bring to your attention one last item, which is those binders in front of you. To confirm, you're welcome to take those binders home, which has the updated draft zoning code. So we had one discussion so far. Wanted to make sure you had hard copy, that you could spend time with the current draft. Zoning Commission is having meetings now, considering what's in that code, that version of the code. So please take it home, spend some time with it, and let me know what you see. If you still have questions, especially questions that I haven't addressed from the last meeting that we talked about it during, please let me know. And then we will also be open to doing another, commencing with another meeting to talk about the code like we did the last time. And I'll be more than happy to spend time with you between now and then, or if you want to let me know your feedback on whether you would like to have that meeting, just to put that out there. You don't have to decide right here on the spot, but you can write me an email or give me a call and let me know. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you all. That's all the items of business I have.
Anything else? No?
Gentleman asked if he could speak with us. If that's something.
Do you want it on the record?
Okay.
Okay.
All right, then
We'll adjourn the
I
meeting.
move that the meeting is adjourned.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned.